military at 17. By the age of 21, I'd done 2 tours of Afghanistan and pulled the trigger more than I'd like to have. I had some great success in my career. I made 3 shots from a mile away. So you can call me Bobby Lee Swagger if you like. But very quickly, towards the end of my second tour in Afghanistan, I began to lose grip. And I began to experience a very fast onset of post-traumatic stress disorder, something that I'd never heard of in my life. I'd never heard at this time the term mental health. I knew nothing about it. So I was shitting my pants, very, very much so. I had no idea what was going on. Nightmares, we all know the symptoms that are a part of a life with PTSD. We've all know someone that's got it, heard it, seen it on the telly. I don't need to go through it all, but things like flashbacks and nightmares were very quickly ruining my life, along with anger, which I know is a big problem among British blokes. Anger fuels everything else that was going wrong in my head, absolutely everything. So my book tells you in a lot more detail about my story, what it takes to become a sniper, the actual job of being a sniper, what it's like, in my words, to look through the scope and pull the trigger, and then the onset of PTSD. But don't worry, it is not all doom and gloom. And neither should the way you're feeling be, because things get better. And in the book, I go through how I actually did that, and I now live a completely normal PTSD-free life. And you can't stop me from smiling. I am grateful, which is one of the biggest things, is gratitude. I'm grateful to be alive, because my PTSD led me a few times to attempting suicide. Twice was very, very serious. I nearly accomplished my goal. I'd like to touch base on that one very quickly. What I realised, for anyone that has done it, you probably realised the same thing. As soon as I'd passed that moment of, oh yeah, I've done that, I'd slit my wrists. And I immediately regretted it. I did not want to die. I just wanted what was going on in my head to stop. I wanted a pause button, not an off button. Bear that one in mind. After doing this, I ended up in a psychiatric hospital for a period of 3 months. That was a scary time. Some very, very sick people who needed a lot of help, and it put things into perspective for me pretty quickly. But there was some things that really, really did help me. One was learning from others. That was such a big one, learning from other people who were going through the same struggles as me. At the time, we're talking 2010 now. That's when I got diagnosed with PTSD, and when all this sort of stuff started really kicking off. I'd never heard of it, as I said before. I didn't know anyone else that struggled with it or was struggling with it. Turns out, in the barracks where I was based, there was loads of people seeing a psychiatric nurse every week. It was very much under wraps, and that could have quite literally saved lives. A lot of lives have been lost from friends of mine. Majority military, because it's a tough time. So any military people that may be listening to this, you'll get it. The transition between a military life into a civilian life is hard enough. There's very much a hero to zero feeling, but the best way to do that is hit the ground running, and that can be said for anybody. The one of the biggest things that I realised was having such a detrimental effect on my mental health was me staying in my comfort zone, which was extremely small. It was me in my house with the curtains closed, not answering the phone, and not going anywhere. That was my comfort zone. That was the only place I was comfortable-ish. As comfortable as it got. Very soon realised that I was missing out on life. And you get one go at this life, don't you? So I decided that I was going to, rather than sit and just watch myself decay into what I believed was an inevitable death by suicide, I decided to travel the world and start learning some stuff. Started in Europe, Southeast Asia, lived in Australia, back to Europe, Canada, America, Mexico, Central America, all these places. And what I learned on my little journey of finding myself was you don't need money to be happy. You just need to love yourself. That was the overall thing. There's lots and lots of things that went into it, but that was the big one, loving yourself. Get out of your comfort zone and love yourself. Love yourself for just being there. Love yourself for being here today. Surround yourself with the right people and the right energies. Learn from other people's energies. Some people's, you might have heard drains and radiators. Some people will radiate positive energy into a room and you can feel it, and then they'll make you smile. I will say, yeah, I reckon I'm one of them people. I never used to be. I used to be an absolute drain on a room. All the energy gets sucked out. So if you're constantly with drains, you're going to drain yourself. So protect your energy. At the end of the day, this is your life. So you're in control of it. Don't let other people's energies suck you down. Protect it. Get away from negative people. Be kind and positive. Those two things, being kind and being positive, they will come back to you. I talk about it in the book where I was laughing myself to sleep at night because all these incredible things have kept happening to us, one after the other. And the only thing we could put it down to was being positive and sort of just saying yes to everything. Another thing that used to drive me a bit potty would be how I'd compare myself to others. So diagnosed mental health issues are not a competition. It's not a competition. And I get this all the time when I speak to other people who are having their own issues with mental health and depression, anxiety, things like that. Or one I hear all the time is, oh, it's nothing compared to what you've been through. Take it from me. Seen most of it, done most of it. It's not a competition. There is no scoreboard. Whatever is causing you upset is causing you upset. Whatever caused me upset caused me upset. My experience is no worse than yours, and yours is no worse than somebody else's. So don't compare yourself. Just work on yourself. It's hard to do the work. You've all heard that. And that is everything, encompassing everything. Doing the work is doing the pots in the morning when you've not done them for a couple of days because you're too depressed and you can't do it, or you can't clean your house or whatever. Do it. Little goals, little wins each day. They get me through every day. And every little win. So you wash the pots, tick. Excellent. Send that email or call that person that you needed to do. Catch up with that mate. The little wins. And it's all about leading a positive life. Is done best in a community. And I'm constantly posting about things like this. So thank you all very much for your time. What an incredible job you're doing. I think that being able to just listen and not talk to somebody can sometimes be the best way. So I'm very, very excited to see what comes of this. Good luck to you all. Don't be scared to ask for help. That's what it boils down to. But don't be scared to help yourself.